Hey everybody. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. It's going to be a tasting video, but we're going to taste two Ibang area teas. Ibang is an area in Yiwu that is one of these areas that has not pure Assamica tea trees, but rather kind of naturally occurring hybrids that in Chinese they call them zhongxiaoyezhong, or mixed small medium leaf varietals. Ibang is one such area. So I've been producing Ibang tea since 2010 from the same family, and today we're going to drink the 2016 autumn Ibang, which is here, this guy one here. 2016 autumn Ibang, and the 2017 spring Ibang. So this one's just over a year old, and this one's not quite a year old. So yeah, we're going to drink them side by side and just talk a little bit about Ibang teas in general, how these taste and how they compare in terms of taste, autumn and spring. Of course, it's not always possible to taste them exactly at the same point in their aging because they are from, they were born at different times. So, but these are fairly close. I was also considering drinking the 2017 autumn Ibang with the 2017 spring, but I wanted to go with one that had just a little bit more age on it. So yeah, here we go. We're going to give it a start. This 7 grams in the Gaiwan here. These Gaiwans are about, I think, 130, 140 milliliters. So not a ton, but not nothing either. And again, the thing to remember about Ibang teas is that they're the zhongxiaoyezhong. They're not the pure Assamica varietals. Small, kind of like the Jing Mai tea that we drank recently. I don't think that video is out yet, but the Jing Mai tea that we drank recently too is also a zhongxiaoyezhong. Jing Mai area teas are these smaller leaf varietals. High aroma, a little more sweetness. They can be quite potent though, so give this a little wash here. I'm not using a strainer. It's too much work to keep moving the strainer off and on. Nice little wash here. Nice perfume coming off this one. Floral. The spring's got a little bit of a heavier taste, or a little bit of a heavier aroma. Let's go with these cups of wash here. I'm actually going to give these a little sip. The autumn's got kind of a real nice perfume. Spring is a little bit heavier, so the taste is similar to the aroma that I just got off these. And again, fully boiled water. We literally just boiled the water, so on these teas you definitely want to use hot water. Even though they're not pure Assamica, they definitely can take a lot of heat, and you should brew them with as hot a water as you possibly can. So let's see here. I'm gonna, there's for the cameraman. I've been using my silver teapot so much, I haven't been using Gaiwans. I'm kind of, they feel a little bit awkward to me. All right, well, tea soup, pretty similar. Not a huge difference there. Let's go ahead and let's give them a try. Oops. Let's just do this next one here, get these ready so this doesn't take ages and ages. Okay, so I'm going to drink the Autumn 2016. Really sweet, fruity. A little bit of orchid aroma, with kind of a floral aspect to it. Nice body. Definitely not bitter at this stage or astringent. Let's give the spring a try and see how it compares. The spring is definitely, again, kind of like the aroma, heavier, and oh, there goes the rice cooker. Definitely heavier, and it's got a little more body, which is to be expected. There is a little bit more of a tinge of bitterness too in the spring, but not a huge difference. This is why I think autumn teas, and one of the reasons I make autumn teas is because autumn teas, I think, are typically, often they're half the price of the spring teas. And to me, that's just a bargain because they're not half as good. Sometimes I think they're just as enjoyable, especially with a bit of age. So let's go into the second steep here. Again, let's start with the spring this time, just to see how one tastes behind the other, as opposed to in front. This is just one of those teas that has a lot of complexity, but not a huge amount of bitterness and astringency. They're very, I think, I don't want to say well-behaved teas, but they're a really good example of how good these teas can taste without being overpowering. Nice, full, spicy. This is one of those teas that just sinks down into you, and you just feel warm. The chachi, which I'm starting to feel a little bit too, is just really nice and warming. Feeling it in the arms and back. It's very pleasant. Let's try the autumn now. Actually, I'm going to load these up. Wow, that ones feel a little strange to me. I've literally been using my silver teapot like nonstop. So this is the autumn here. Autumn. The autumn's got a little bit more of a malty, grainy aspect to it. A little bit more broth, like a kind of a mushroomy broth taste. I think it's got similar character to the spring, but it has more of, again, more of that grainy aspect, and it's got a little bit more touch of astringency, whereas the spring tends to have a little bit more bitterness and less astringency. But again, neither of these are particularly bitter or astringent. I've got a little bit left here from this steep, so I'm going to drink them again. Spring has more of like a spicy kind of, a little bit more of a spicy, pungent quality. The body of both are similar, although I think the spring wins out in terms of body. The autumn, however, has its own really unique character. That malty kind of mushroom broth taste, and it has a floral perfume taste as well that is a I think distinct from the spring. So let's keep going here. And again, this is the spring and this is the autumn. So I'm gonna drink the autumn first this time. I like to switch back and forth. I think here's where we're seeing a little bit, it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to see on the video unless we had a top-down view, but the autumn has definitely got a darker color. Part of it could be age, but I have found that autumn teas in general, especially iwus, they tend to have a darker color than a similarly aged spring from the same area. So I'm going to go back to drinking the, oh, what did I say? Anyways, we'll drink the spring first this time. Really good infusion, really solid, tons of body. The bitterness and astringency is definitely turned on this tea. Again, compared to like a lot of other teas, it's not got a lot of bitterness and astringency, but it's definitely there, especially in this infusion. But really good mouth watering. A lot of very active in the mouth. This one. Wow, that is just the nectar of the gods. This is really enjoyable. I'm gonna get these going again. But the interesting thing, I think, too, if you drink two teas side by side like this, there's a lot to be learned, but there's also a lot of things I think that it's going to be hard to pick up on in terms of taste and aroma and things like that. In terms of like looking at the leaf and the tea soup and all that kind of stuff is totally fine. But where you get kind of hung up is like the mouthfeel and the chachi, because really they're just intermingled, both of the teas. So it's kind of hard to say this tea's chachi versus this tea's chachi versus, as opposed to just these two teas in general they do have a very strong like energetic effect. Mouthfeel is very strong. But again, we'd have to drink them totally separately to really gauge their individual, character in terms of chachi and mouthfeel and whatnot. Autumn's got the sweet spiciness up front with a little quick hit of astringency, a little less bitterness. But the astringency is far from overpowering. It fades pretty fast. It's got a little slightly more of a drying effect than the spring. So let's keep going here. Dump this out. This is a lot of tea to be quaffing in a very short period of time. So if I start sounding like I'm just repeating myself or I'm just rambling, it's probably because I am tea drunk. And I like to leave the tops off. Again, pretty similar in terms of size of tea leaves, color. I actually find that the spring, there's not much of a difference in terms of like their color. They were really good olive, kind of a dark green olive color, which is very much the domain of old tree. Now, again, I don't think these are ancient trees, but they're mature, naturally growing trees, not plantation tea. Fill this up, got the autumn, got the spring. Again, the autumn is definitely a darker fare. Not, I think, because of its age, but simply because it's autumn. And it's interesting to note that there is a little bit more cloudiness. I wouldn't say it's cloudy, but the autumn is slightly cloudier than the spring and a little bit darker. So let's start with the spring this time. The autumn is definitely performing very well. It's still very robust. It really hasn't lost anything. If anything, it's actually stronger, this steeping, than the last one. There's definitely a little bit of a drying that I'm getting with this tea. But again, it's very strong tea. Both of these teas, the chachi effect and the mouthfeel is just really strong. I definitely do feel that the spring has got more of the, in Chinese they say run, or the lubricating kind of slippery mouth feel compared to the autumn, because I drink the autumn and I get a little bit of dryness, and then I drink the spring and I get a little bit of run. And I think that's definitely where the spring, in my opinion, is winning out in terms of as an overall tea. But again, I'm still not feeling that, and obviously I've already stated that pretty clearly, that I always feel that autumn teas, if they're good from the same garden as the spring, are often, often half the price, and they're not half as good. And in some cases they can be very close. In this case, I would say, if I were to give this a 10, I would give this like a 7.5 or an 8. So let's keep going here. But wow, I'm definitely feeling it. Very, very, very intense mouthfeel. A lot of activity going on. I think if anything, my mouth is feeling a little bit confused because it's this one, then that one, this one, then that one. It's an interesting experiment to try. I would encourage you to at least try drinking like a same garden, autumn and spring. Let's see, which one did I drink first last time? I think it was the autumn, so I'm going to drink the spring this time. Nice, sweet, thick, again, run, lubricating, a little bit of spice, flower, floral aspects to it. Nice body still. This really hasn't diminished noticeably from the previous infusion. Maybe slightly less body. This does have it still really has this perfume. I used to call it guhua, just simply because it's almost like a floral perfume, like aroma. And guhua refers really to autumn tea in general. Some people call it like a guhua xiang, which is like an autumn aroma. And it definitely has that. It's really unique that the spring doesn't have it. So again, we can play favorites. I still think my favorite is definitely the spring, but the autumn has its own really unique character.